should walk to
Hey,
the back
Mama.
door.
How you
Hey, Kimberly.
doing?
I'm well. How are
Hi,
you?
everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. I've got my mom with me, and I might be pointing the wrong direction. I don't know because I don't know which direction the screen is going today. So we, like I promised, are going to be talking about marriage. Um, on Monday the 19th is yes, we are going to be drinking out of very fancy, beautiful cups with saucers, etc. So we are going to be talking about marriage. On the 19th of August is my wedding anniversary to my husband. It will be 29 years. And on the same day is my mother's birthday. We are not going to say what number that is. It is less than 100. Just saying. Um, so she looks great for 100. She looks terrible for her age. Anyways,
I,
so
I think you're frozen, Kim.
no, okay. One of us was frozen,
Oh, well, you looked frozen to me. So that
and you
you'll be
looked frozen to me. So that's okay. That's okay. Either way, doesn't matter.
you'll edit that.
I don't know. I don't edit a whole lot.
Oh,
So that's kind of one of the beauties of how I do things. So we'll start again completely. Okay. And I will edit the entire beginning.
okay.
Okay. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. I am here with my beautiful mother, and we are going to be talking about marriage. We're going to be drinking out of fancy cups. We are going to be having, yes, oh, other way. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
We are going to be talking about our marriage values and what has given us long-term relationships in our lives. Having had really, really, really difficult beginnings, how have we made long-term relationships work? For reference, Mom was married to my stepdad for 26 years. Is that right?
Yes.
26 years. I've been married to my husband for 29 now. It will be on Monday. And we have been together for 33, almost 34 years. So I'm not going to say we are experts, but we are experts for our relationships. You need to look at your own relationship, see how what we say works for the two of you, because that's what matters. Our personalities are going to be different than yours, but there still are some basics that are simple, all-around truths, in my humble yet accurate opinion. So, Mama, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm not a big fan of the lighting in here because it looks like my eyes are 100% black. There we go. I can sit like this and really, dry out my eyeballs. Never mind. So no, I'm doing well. Um, yes, you could open the curtains if you like. My husband is a wonderful man, and he is going to open some curtains to make sure I have a little bit extra light. Um, has it helped? Not yet. Anyways, regardless. So, Mom, tell me a
Mm.
little bit about your philosophy, general philosophy on marriage.
Well, Kim, you would know
Yes, but
so
they don't,
well that my philosophy on marriage is that it's God centered.
right?
My life is God centered. And so I pull my principles for a good marriage from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I come from. That's the beginnings of it.
Right?
And uh, so if I reference stuff, it's because of what I've learned from the Bible.
Right.
And yeah, so my philosophy on marriage is that it is for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
A marriage is for until death do us part.
Mm-hmm.
And we know people don't go into marriages thinking, well, I'm just going to get divorced. So,
Well, most of us don't.
well,
Some,
most of us don't. That's
yeah.
that's right. I have to
But there are
remember
some
to say,
people who do the whole prenup is the wrong reason. But they go into it thinking, well, it works for now. Let's see how it works over the next 5 years. I like being in love. I like learning new love, so on and so forth. So they don't go into it thinking divorce, but they don't go into it necessarily thinking full time life, which is you and I are a little different on that.
Uh, for my first marriage, I obviously, if you had a stepfather, you had a father,
Hmm.
and so that marriage ended after 20 years, and uh, part of it was because I didn't love myself. I didn't um, I didn't know I wasn't feeling worthy. I didn't
Yeah.
think I would ever be worthy to anyone, and I was gullible and fearful.
Mm.
Oh, Kim, I have to hang up the phone call.
There we go.
Sorry.
Yep, that's okay. That's okay.
And um, so I was fearful. I didn't know how to get out of a pit. But I
Right.
want to say this to anyone. Although
Hmm.
marriage is for life, marriage is for till death do you part. If you are in an abused relationship, you need to leave.
Hmm. Doug,
And
I'd rather not have that in front of me. It puts, there we go.
it puts uh, a whole different dynamic to marriage. And
Absolutely.
God does not want us to be in a relationship where one is abused. And
That's right.
so that was that. And He makes provision for
He
for
does.
this for
Absolutely.
this divorce. And so
Yep.
I honor marriage, and I always wanted to be a woman that could be the best wife uh, possible.
Right.
And so that was my philosophy.
Hmm.
So now I was so fortunate to have met uh, your stepfather, and I was, and he died. He had
Hmm.
Alzheimer's and died, and then I
Hmm.
met someone new, and I've been blessed by this relationship as well. But
Absolutely.
what I learned was that in my second marriage to your stepfather, I was at a different age.
Hmm.
My children were grown.
Hmm.
And now, when I am, as I'm married to Bob, I'm in a different age as well
Absolutely. Yep.
as being a senior.
A
So
different season in your life
yeah,
entirely. Yeah.
exactly. And so there's these stages of marriage that I've been in. So, yeah, now I kind of maybe strayed away from it,
No,
from
no,
the main question. Okay. All right.
that was perfect.
Okay.
So you were talking about your philosophy on marriage, and
Yeah.
the way you described yourself is, I think, really important. Loving yourself is important. It means that it doesn't mean that you're self-centered. It means that you will not put up with certain behaviors. You will not put up with physical or mental abuse. You will not put up with being less than, you know. Um, Part of my philosophy on marriage or just general relationships is that um, if you're not enough for yourself, you'll never be enough together. And that's just how it works. If you are single and you must, oh, hi, Todd. I didn't realize we were live. Um, so we have somebody joining us now. This is Todd, otherwise known as Matrix Rabbit. We're doing very well. We're talking about long-term relationships and marriage. I'm probably not going to interact a whole lot with the chat, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, this is going to be an intimate conversation between wives, I guess. Um, so, like I said, if you're not enough by yourself, you won't be enough together with someone. Um, I was in college and I had been married for,
Oh, Kim, I lost you. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. There
okay,
you are.
Yep, there I am. My phone, for some reason, decided to be a pain. Okay,
I just have to say this. If something
yes,
goes wrong with this, I have no idea how to fix it. So don't count on
that's
me.
okay.
It could
That's
go
okay.
for a long time or end quickly.
That's right. Yep. When I was in college, I didn't start college until my early 30s. And I was going to school with a lot of young women who were taught their whole lives that their husband had to be the center of the relationship. They thought that the head of the home, being the husband, meant that they were not second class citizens, but they were um, under him, you know, and under him to the point of not being able to be themselves. That is not correct. That is not biblical. That is not what I believe. I believe that um, as the husband in any business, for example, if you go into this looking at it like a business, not simply as a relationship, but as a business, there can only be one CEO. If there's two people making final decisions, that doesn't work very well. It really doesn't. There needs to be somebody who is absolutely responsible for the toughest, hardest decisions. Having said that, he can't be a dictator. He cannot be somebody who is not willing to listen to advice, not willing to listen to ideas. Um, for example, this morning, my husband was outside doing manual labor in our yard, but he also made breakfast. So, I mean, it's not that we are in gender roles, but we are in somewhat gender-ish roles, if you know what I mean. Um, like I was saying, the girls were asking me how to have a relationship and go to school and have children and be married and all of that. In other words, how was I doing it? How was I doing it all? And the only way I could do it all is if my husband took more of the load than what the typical mother, in their opinions, should do. They thought mom had to be 100% there for the children, 100% there for her husband, and not have ambitions or goals or whatever for themselves. That isn't the case. That's not the case. Um, what do you think, Mom?
Well, I'm really old fashioned. I have to
Yeah,
say that. And but my personality, Kimberly, you and I learned a word last week. I wrote it down and I can't remember that word. It sounded like,
pernicious.
no, not pernicious. Da, not, uh, it means, it meant uh, controlling, maybe uh, a good manager.
Oh, yes,
What,
starts with an F.
closed-minded, closed-minded.
Yeah, it starts with an F.
F, it did.
Yeah, starts with an F. Yep.
Badinate, anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
Okay.
no, I put that in your brain and you're going to think on it. I know you are, and I'm sorry
I
about that. I
know.
know
It's
you,
going to be going
Kimberly.
on back here
Yes,
somewhere.
it is. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Um, but what this is what I think, and this
Hmm.
goes. This I have to, like I said, I come from a God-centered life, and
Exactly.
so I look at the Bible, and it talks in the Old Testament in Proverbs 31. And if anyone wants to look up that proverb, it's Proverbs chapter 31, verses 23. And it talks about this wife who sounds like she is totally impossible to ever meet. But what that really is talking about is relationships. And uh, when we're talking about marriage, I'm coming to marriage as a wife,
Hmm.
but this can be carried over into relationship between
Hmm.
anyone, between a business relationship, between friendship, between just whatever that you happen to be in. But one of the things that I have learned from studying Proverbs chapter 31, even though it's talking about a wife, is there is a term in there about being known at the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Being known, and my children know this. My
Mm-hmm.
daughters-in-law know this very well, and many people I've spoken to know this term, known at the gate. What is being known at the gate? Well, in this instance, this lady's husband was sitting at a gate where the men used to sit, and other people would come to them for questions, for advice, for knowledge. And her husband was known at the gate. Now, how can you be known at the gate? How would I make my husband, my business partner, known at the gate? I'm going to try to get this out without wandering down rabbit trails, and sometimes I do. But anyway, being known at the gate is if I would say to you, I would say to, well, okay, to you, Kim,
Yeah.
I would say, I have, and you've never met my husband. You've never
Right.
met my business partner. You've never met them. And I continually come up with negative things about him, about
Mm.
them, about her. And you would say things like, uh, my husband never, ever picks up his socks. I continually am
Yeah.
going after him picking up his socks. He does not know how to work a laundry hamper. He does not know. And not only that, he's never there with the kids. But by the way, we're having a dinner party next week. Can you come over?
Exactly. Yes.
When I introduce you to my husband, what is the first thing you're going to think of? This boy
Lazy.
doesn't get
Somebody
lazy,
who
doesn't
doesn't
pick
care
up his
about the
socks.
family.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't pick up his socks. That's the
Right.
first thing you want. Well, the lady in Proverbs, her husband was known at the gate as being worthy, as being wise.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he would get that reputation when where he comes from is from that
Mm-hmm.
home? Now, that reputation would have come out from how she spoke to others,
Yeah.
how she treated him and made him feel worthy at home, because that's really where it starts. If I believe if you do not make your partner feel worthy in your home, it it continues through the rest of their day. So when we wake up in the morning, we have got a choice. We can make choices. We're going to think because we as wives,
Mm-hmm.
moms, and mothers can form a day. Now I have to apologize. I have a clock that plays music and it's going on
Yeah.
right now.
Mine
So let's
just did.
see.
Okay. We have similar clocks.
Yes, we do. Anyway, we can form that day, and we can make the choice to form that day, and that is
Mm-hmm.
with yourself. Are you going to form the day by being negative, by getting up and saying to the children, "It's you're late for look, this room is a mess," and like this is how you can start to the day, or you can go in and start the day by saying something pleasant, continue to be positive. And so that goes on in relationships and in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I have found, if we're talking about how can we have a long lasting marriage, you have to
Mm-hmm.
find a way. This is not going to happen automatically. It
That's
takes a lot
right.
of work.
It does. Preventative maintenance
Marriage,
as well, like a car.
yes, exactly. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter how old the car is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to think about what we're doing. First of
Yeah.
all, I want to say this marriage is not 50-50. It has never been 50-50. God has never intended it to be 50-50. Marriage is 100, 100, 100%, 100%. You look after yourself, you look after your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
If your husband or your wife or your business partner is saying very unkind things to you, and that
Mm-hmm.
happens,
Mm-hmm.
your response is going to keep the conversation going one
Mm-hmm.
way or the other. And so marriage is my 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 100% is if I don't like the way my husband hangs towels up, hmm, I guess that's not important to him how the towel is hung up, but it's important to me. Now, I have towels that have lines on them. And being the kind of person I am, I like pictures straight and I like the towels hung properly in the bathroom. And if that's such an issue to me, then my 100% is to line up the towel and
Exactly.
keep my mouth shut.
I'm just going to put this on screen. I don't normally because, like I said, it's going to be a conversation between the two of us, but Indigo Twin has an excellent, excellent image. I heard this one, relationship. You can't sell a full sail, you can't sail a full sailed ship by yourself. You need to have a crew. In a marriage, you and your partner need to be the captain and the first mate.
Amen.
That's exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly how I look at it.
Yeah.
Um, in my house, I am not a tidy person. I'm just not. I don't have the attention span. I don't have the. It's not in me to be uncomfortable with clutter. My mom knows this. It drove her nuts. My husband knows this. It drives him nuts. Therefore, if that's going to drive them nuts and I don't care, guess who I think should have to clean it? I should, let me rephrase that. I should do my part. I shouldn't just do a clutter and leave it for everybody because that's not fair. But if, for example, my husband would like the bathroom towels folded a certain way and I couldn't care less, then he'll be the one to fold the towels. Like you were just saying, towels on the towel rack. It's important, like I said, to have a head, but like Indigo said, have a first mate, have the person be just as important, but not making that final choice. When my girls were little, my older daughter was in bed and she said something about she thought her dad had given her a consequence that she thought wasn't fair. And I didn't come up and say not to do it. I sided with him. And she said, Mommy, but aren't you the one in charge? I'm like, well, no. And she says, what do you mean? Because she saw me as I'm the person always there. I'm the one laying down the laws most of the time. When dad's home, why does it change? And I said to her, you know what? In a family, there needs to be one person to make the big, big, big choices. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to say, we can only afford this type of house, therefore let's get this house. My husband will say we can have, within our budget, we can have this house, this house, this house, and this house. I get to choose from those 4 houses, right? So he gives me good choices that as the head, he can absolutely live with, and I get to choose one. And that's where the first mate comes in. That's where in our family, that's my role. He gives me choices and I choose. Or if it's my turn, for example, to plan our anniversary, I will talk to him, and I know because I've known him for 34 years, I know well the things he likes. And I know well the things he doesn't like. So I will take the 4 things that I know he enjoys, and I will choose, okay, we're going to do this, 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 or this. For example, this year we're going camping for a week. That is something my husband loves to do. And that's something that I'm like, yeah, I like being with you. I like being able to spend time in the trailer and be exclusive and not have all of the trappings and worries and everything that comes along with taking care of a house. I like that concentrated time. So that works very well for us. I am giving him a gift, though, on the 19th that he doesn't yet know about. And because he is sitting right there, I am not going to tell him about it, and I'm not telling you about it. But it is something that I will enjoy a whole lot, and he will enjoy being with me for. So it kind of goes both ways, right? Like Mom was saying, the woman in Proverbs 31, It talks about her getting up early in the morning and providing for her servants, getting up early in the morning and providing for her children, getting up early in the morning and working hard and doing all of this work. Plus, she's a businesswoman, plus, she's a mother, plus, she's a wife. So she is like this impossible standard. But she has nannies, she has maids, she has servants. We don't have that. That means we don't have to be everything to all people. We aren't expected to be superhuman, right? And that's where I come in is I am beyond not superhuman. I am very fallible human. And this is where my husband and I do the work. He chooses every day to love me. I choose every day to love him. There are days when we do not like each other even a little bit, but we love each other. And that comes with commitment. Love isn't a feeling. I don't feel like I'm in love with him all the time. There are times when it's like big heart moments, and it's like, oh, I love you so much. You are amazing. But at the same time, there's times like, honey, again, really? Seriously? With the towels, or that kind of thing. Marriage isn't based on that feeling, it is based on the choice to love each other. So, what do you do in your marriages for preventative relationship or preventative maintenance, Mom?
Preventative maintenance, that's a very good thing. First of all, I really liked, and I can't read the little
Mm-hmm.
print that was up, but whomever it was that said about the ship. I like
Indigo
that
twin.
because,
Yep.
mhm. Be, first of all, that ship has an anchor.
Yep.
The reason the ship has an anchor is that so it doesn't drift away.
Yep.
So, um, my relationship with God doesn't drift away. I have to take
Right.
care of that anchor. My relationship with my husband doesn't drift away.
Right.
And that's what we have to be careful of. And so that's part of maintenance. Don't let it drift away. And you are in, there's my husband coming in the door. You can see him.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Bob.
Um, anyway, so we can't let it drift away. That's maintenance. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
choice. And now
Yeah.
I get a little bit fanatic about being faithful
Oh, yeah.
because
There's reasons for that.
well, there is, but people that people that will say, it just happened. We were at work late, and it just happened. We didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it did not just happen because you were drifting. There was a look, there was a touch, there was an intentional meeting at the coffee room. It's intentional. It
You don't
doesn't.
accidentally drop all your clothes. There has
No,
to be an
there
intention
is
there.
intention at the very beginning. And if
That's
that
right.
does happen, look at your anchor. Look at your
Mm-hmm.
anchor. So anyway, that's one thing. The anchor. How do you maintain? Try to find some excitement. And you really nailed it. You know, there are times when you just need space.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband loves to shop. He can
Mm-hmm.
grocery shop, and it is his happy place. He will go through 120 tomatoes to just get the right tomato. In fact, he's just very proud of the tomato that he has just bought, just because it looked so nice. This tomato, and I just loved it. And that's what and he is saying, uh, okay, all right, okay. That's just a little message. Okay, he's going to walk the dog. Thank you for walking the dog. I don't like to walk the dog. Do you have keys, dear? Please have keys. Thank you. He's got keys. But anyway, I remember when uh, when we needed space for
Mm-hmm.
your stepdad, when Keith was alive. We lived on an acreage, and there was a barn.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I got lippy, or anytime I got just being a pain in the back end, he would say, Merrylin, go to the barn. And that was always my. Do you remember him saying that? Go to the barn. And that,
No, no.
you just remember him saying,
I've never
well,
heard that.
your sister knows it well. Go to the
Oh,
barn.
okay.
And it would be a way to jokingly say, I need some space. But it was a joke, and it was said, and we knew right away that we had crossed a line.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can learn when it comes to maintenance
Mm-hmm.
is, sometimes you're just not ready to say, I'm sorry.
Right.
Sometimes, sometimes you can't talk about a problem just yet, but you want your partner to know that you still love them,
Mm-hmm.
know that you're still okay, the marriage is
Mm-hmm.
okay. Something that I had suggested to younger married women, to women that were thinking of getting married, was to have something that you can place. I don't care. It could be, I have a napkin right here. I have a napkin and I have it folded like a little rose and it's kind of pretty. Anyway, I'm just using that for an example. There has to be a place where you can pick up that rose napkin and put it on a shelf, some place for that your partner to see it, just to say
Mm-hmm.
it's out of place from where it usually is, but it's sitting there. That napkin, or that I don't know, a green pepper, something that maybe that person really doesn't like, but your partner loves it, and so you get one of those things and you put it there. It's an act of love. It's just wait, just give me a moment. I can't talk about it
Mm-hmm.
yet, but it's
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm ready to talk soon. And so we need that kind of a stuff. We need a something that would represent something. And so that's an anchor. Or that's a maintenance thing. I'll think of other maintenance things, because your readers, or I don't know what's the word I'm looking,
Viewers.
your followers, your viewers are
Yes.
younger. They would be more your age. I don't know if you have viewers
No,
that
not necessarily, Mama.
you have viewers my age.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, I was in a situation where with your stepdad, who was gone, and it was an ideal marriage, I believe, because he was gone for 4 and 5 weeks at a time, and I was on my own
Yes.
at home. And
Yes.
we always said we were married for 26 years, but in actuality, we were only together for 12. So
Yep. He was gone half.
he was gone half of the time. But anyway, maybe there's a viewer who is in that situation, whose husband, whose wife is away a lot. When he came home, I couldn't understand why we were bickering all the time. I couldn't,
Mm.
we missed one another a lot, and we missed the relationship and the tenderness, and we
Mm-hmm.
missed all that. But yet we were bickering.
Mm-hmm.
Then I heard the word re-entry. And that was
Ooh.
such a powerful word for me, because while he was gone all the time for weeks at a time, I was on my own making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
My house was tidy. I could eat when and where I wanted, all of this. All of a sudden, I had someone else there in
Mm-hmm.
my life. And once I got the word re-entry, and for anyone who is in that kind of situation, you're going to know what I mean. You know
Yep.
that
Yep.
they get in the way. These
Yeah.
men get in the way. These wives get in the way, and uh, so there is that word. So that was
Mm-hmm.
maintenance, part of maintenance that I learned. Another part of maintenance was retirement. Now there was the
Mm.
biggie, retirement. So one of the things that in my relationship with my husband, there's a lot of humor and we can laugh at one another. Anyway, I heard this
They really
story.
do. It's both cute and annoying.
Oh, we do. There's a lot of laughter. And, but anyway, I heard this story from a friend, and this is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
The husband had been a teacher. He retired, he came home,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife was uh, a stay at home. wife who managed very well their home. It was her job, and it was a full-time job with the home and the children and making people happy. But anyway, his first day at home, they were having breakfast, and he watched her do the breakfast and said, "Don't you think the peanut butter would be better over in that cupboard? I mean, you can reach it easier." And she looked at him, and she went to the phone and she phoned a friend who had been after her to come and work for her for many years, especially after the children were away from home. So
Mm.
she phoned the friend and said, "Do you think you still have a job opening for me?" And yes, she did. She hung up the phone and she went to work. So the humor in that story was whenever we kind of crossed one another's area of expertise, we would say, "You're not going to move the peanut butter, are you?" And it was a joke. It was a
Yeah.
joke about moving the peanut butter. It's just a little fun thing that you can joke about. But
Mm-hmm.
maintenance, here's a maintenance one. Uh, Writing little notes.
Mm.
I had the occasion of leading a ladies' Bible study at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Valentine's. And so I was trying to make real how we could bring some excitement into our families around love.
Right.
One of the assignments was for the
Oops.
next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
To one lady in particular, I want you to write a little note how you appreciate your husband, hide it in places that they can find, that they will go to every day and not know it's there. And so she did that. And then she came back the next month at Our Ladies Bible Study group and she laughed and she said, "At the end of the 2 weeks, I quit writing the notes." And my husband came up to me and said, "Where did you hide the note today? I can't find
Oh.
it." And to her, it was like, I should have done this years ago. She just
Yeah.
wrote a little note
Yeah.
every day, and he looked for it. And they never said anything to each other about the note. It was never brought up. He just found it. She really didn't know whether he found it, but he missed that note. He missed that love gesture. Great
And it
maintenance.
doesn't have to be anything big.
No,
Um, when I'm talking to people who are going through a depression or who are going through anxiety or something like that, frequently I'll say, okay, look around your house. Five things that you are thankful for. No, just look at 5 things and be thankful for it. For example, I'm going to turn my camera around. Oops. I'm going to turn my camera around and you will be able to see the wall behind me. So I'm going to do facing back, camera 2.0, facing back.
look
There we
at her.
go.
You're so knowledgeable. Oh, I know that.
Okay, so when you take a look at this, what you are seeing is my living room with a very strange green wall, a wall with tons of photographs on it, um, and a blue task chair. Okay,
And a
now
placemat.
having seen, pardon,
And a placemat.
and a placemat. That's right, with lemons on it. Um, but my husband, being an engineer, would not necessarily have chosen those things on his own. Green walls, not something most people would choose. When we were redoing our flooring, I said, "Honey, I have an idea. Um, I saw this on some design shows and I just love it. It's called a gallery wall. And you have all of your family pictures or all of your favorite pictures on a wall and they are in like, and I just described the vision of it. And he's like, I don't want people looking at me while I'm eating. I really, really, really don't want that. I said, trust me on this. So he trusted me as an engineer, and my mom helped to design it. And my mom, being a very linear person, wanted it in a grid. And I'm like, Mom, no grids. No grids. So we had a discussion on that. Um, but my husband also, whenever he lined up the pictures, it's like, no. There are different sizes of frames. I'll get into it a different time. But He measured all of the distances between the frames. He made sure that they were all equal, that they were all straight, that they were all the stuff that I is not my personality to take care of. He took care of all of those little um, all of those little details that perfect the look. But I came up with the general design, and when we were finished that wall, he's like, I love this. And it didn't matter to him that it was all of our family looking over our shoulder as we ate. It just is a beautiful, beautiful wall. We love it. So it's it's times when we compromise. He follows my vision sometimes, and I follow his, or I use his expertise, he uses mine, things like that, um, that just make it a together relationship. When you're going through a breakup, there have been times when I've gone through a breakup, and then a while after, I don't know if it's maybe a year after that or whatever, a time after that, you start to romanticize about that relationship. Well, he wasn't so bad. She really did, kind of rock my world there for a while. And then I have to remember, hold it. There's a reason that we stopped. Well, in any relationship you start, there's a reason you started.
Yeah.
What are the reasons you started?
Mhm.
And that's one thing that I remember on times when it is difficult, on times when I am not feeling enough, on times when I look at my husband and say, seriously, why do you bother? It's like, okay, why did we start? We started because I was a very joyful, happy person. Well, today I'm not joyful and happy. That's where the choice for love comes in. But then at the same time, we also started because he is a kind, generous, faithful person. Simple as that.
One of
We
the
didn't.
things,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, Kim, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Nope. You go, Mom.
One one of the things that I remember is there needs to be an image that you can pull up because you're right. Every day is not going to be a joyful, happy day. Uh, there, what helped me was to put an image in my mind. I looked at my husband and I remember looking at him driving, and I thought he looks so sexy in those jeans, just
Ooh,
driving. And I thought to myself at that time, I'm going to keep this image in my brain. That's the image I want to keep in my brain. And when I need to pull it up, I pulled it up because sometimes you don't think when when they are, well, I don't know. Just when it's not a very sexy situation or
yeah.
a very loving situation, pull up that image. Pull up. As a matter of fact, even with children, I remember sometimes we get so disappointed with our children and how our children perhaps don't appreciate us
Mm-hmm.
or love us
Mm-hmm.
or pay attention to us, make us feel worthy. Um, if you can bring an image of that child, because those children are not always loving. I can tell you they're not always loving.
I have no
Kim,
idea what you're talking about.
no, I know it. You don't, dear. But one of I can remember. I can pull up a picture of Kim, of our hostess here. I can pull up a picture of her in her first nightie when she got out of sleepers and she was just walking. And I can remember this little nightie was plaid, and she and her sister both had new nighties, and it was Christmas time. That's what they
Mm,
got, and they were allowed to open a gift the night before Christmas. Usually it was pajamas for them to sleep in that night. Well, Kim's gift was this little, and her sister's gift was a nightie. Kim's was a little different than her sister's, but I remember it well because Kim was not walking for all that long and she was coming up the stairs to show her dad her new nightie. And I can picture that in my mind even right now. and it was a check nightie, or a plaid nightie, had white trim on it, long sleeves, and her little red head going up these stairs and having to hang onto the wall as she's going up the stairs. She looked like, they both looked like little angels. I have other pictures of her sister in my mind, but the picture of you in my mind was that. I can picture you still in my mind, of you kneeling beside a coffee table after a Billy Graham concert, and you were 4,
For
and you said, Jesus, I know that you're big and I'm just little, but I want you in my heart. I can picture that I can pull it up right away. I can pull up in my mind when, we needed to pray seriously, and it was,
mm,
let's pray by the bed.
mm-hmm.
And there were times when we were serious and we knelt on our knees by the bed, and we knew it was a big thing to, Mom, let's pray by the bed. That was always an issue. With your husband, with your father or your mother, if you can find a picture of them as an infant, as a young child, before life got a hold of them,
Yeah.
before something in their brain made them angry, made them whatever state that they are in today, that you're upset with.
Mm-hmm.
Find a picture of them and put it out, and say that's the little one that I really, really loved and admired. And um, it's important to find these pictures. Just like I took the picture in my brain about my husband in his blue jeans. That's the picture you need to be able to pull one up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And actually, there are people who will be watching this who don't love themselves very
There you
well.
go.
They're like, okay, I have been nothing but an absolute wreck. I am a drunk. I'm an addict. I am an abuse survivor. I am all of these different things, and it's all my fault. Find a picture of yourself. If you have no photographs of yourself, find a picture of a little kid in a magazine and picture it as yourself. Love that child and tell that child, I love you and I will take care of you. Maybe you can't make sure nothing happens to them because that is out of your control, but I love you. And then after a while, think of yourself as a little bit older. I love you still. And when you aren't overly lovable, when your spouse isn't overly lovable, when your parent isn't overly lovable, and you still feel the need, I need to respect this person, think of them as, like Mom said, do look at them as somebody who life hasn't kicked in the head yet. Um, I had something else in my mind, right on the tip of
Well,
my brain.
Kim, I can remember listening to someone when I lived on my own
Mm-hmm.
for a little while. I can remember hearing this person say, when you have been hurt badly,
Mm-hmm.
and you know where it started, uh, if you to leave that person behind, picture in your mind, uh, this little girl that's looking back at that hurt person. Turn around and say to that little girl, I love you, but I'm leaving now. And picture you walking away from that little girl, that situation where you were hurt so badly. Picture yourself walking away from that and continuing on. Build yourself again, but you're leaving that bad situation. But just wave goodbye. I love you, but I'm leaving you now. You can't remain in that place forever. And that's, to me, it was such a good image. And maybe I always need these images because, some people aren't that personality but I'm visual. I
Yeah.
learn that way. I don't learn, by memory. I learn by a picture. And so I absolutely don't know how other people get on, but I get on by being able to say goodbye to that image and walk away and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because for me, anything that has happened to me, first of all, has gone past God, past Jesus, all the way to me for some reason that I don't understand at the moment. But that's the way it is. It's already gone past God, past Jesus, right through to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to panic about it.
Right.
I'm going to know, and I'm going to rest in that knowing that
Yeah.
it's gone that far.
Something that I remember this for my whole life. When bad things happened to me, my mom always said, it's going to hurt, but what can you learn from it?
Hmm.
And how will you grow from it? So the way I look at it is, okay, yeah, this sucks right now in a big way. But because of this, in the future, I will be able to talk to women who've been abused. I will be able to talk to women who've been through bad relationships, um, or even men to an extent. I don't know a man's experience per se, but I know relationships. I can talk to somebody who's been SA'd. I could talk to somebody who has um, just a wide variety of things because of the crap that I have been through, because of the crap my mom has been through. She has been able to exemplify because she's learned from it. That's the big thing. Learn from it. Don't just stay in it. Learn from it and move forward. Whether God is your center or not, you have the choice to either stay in that situation in your brain or learn from that situation and say, okay, that sucked. How am I going to move forward? And if you don't know how to move forward, find a therapist, find a friend, find a journal, find all sorts of different ways to be able to learn from it and then step forward. It's going to be tough to step forward. It is, but it's possible. And when you do step forward, like I can't step forward saying, this is what it's like to be an alcoholic, so this is what you have to do. I haven't had that situation. But I can say, this is what it's like to have a food addiction. It sucks. Food is always available. It's never been illegal. People look at you funny if you say no to food. All of that stuff. So I can look at that and say, okay, how do I deal with that? Now, just going to say, for the record, I am not sober from food. I'm just not. I am still somebody who is addicted. I still make very poor choices, but I have to own that and say, you know what? It's still even though the food is making me, it's doing something in my brain, giving me a pleasure center, it's my choice to start putting in my mouth. It's not my choice to continue once it's been there and my pleasure center has been activated. But but if I'm in a point when I haven't done that, it's still my choice to put in that first jelly bean, right? So that's totally off the topic, but that came to mind. I just felt that needed to be said, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to relationships, um, you have to be somebody that you find lovable. That's going to be tough for a lot of us out there. Okay. There are people out there, I have good friends in this chat who do not feel lovable.
Mm.
And that's not the case
Mm.
because you know that I care for you and
Mm-hmm.
I love you. And if you think that you're unlovable, that's saying that I am stupid,
Mm.
right? If I think you're worth loving, then I am just foolish for even thinking about loving you. If people can hate for no reason, I can choose to love for no reason. Simple as that. When mom met my stepdad, when she met Bob, um, she had comparatively short dating relationships before they married. So this means that they weren't in love in the typical fashion, but she saw a person who she could respect, who would respect her. They had similar beliefs, similar goals, similar so on and so forth. She also had a list of maybe 10 things, and this person had to meet at least 8 of them, and she was very specific. I remember when she met Bob, she was very specific. And she was told, "Oh, you're being too specific. You're not going to get enough dates, yada, yada, yada." Well, she's like, "I don't want dates. I want a partner." So I told my friend with long blonde hair about that. And that's when she met her partner right now. That's what she did. She had a list of very specific things. These are non negotiables. And when you negotiate on those non negotiables, you're not doing yourself a service, right? You
We
have
have to
those non
tell people.
negotiables for a reason.
We have to tell people that I was very modern, and I met my husband online.
She
I'm
did.
77. I'm 77. I like to tell people I'm 85 because then they'll say, "Oh, you look good." So, but anyway, don't. If you're going to lie about your age, ladies, lie it older when you reach that mark. When I was 70, I used to tell people I was 82, and my brother lovingly looked at me and he would say, maybe try 87."
He's not very nice.
Anyway, when I met Bob, that you're right, Kim, I was very, very specific, and uh, I didn't. I wanted to, which was most important, that I would
Mm-hmm.
meet someone who was with me scripturally,
Yep.
not even scripturally, just had a relationship with the Lord. That's what I meant,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so that's the kind of person that everybody, there used to be a saying for people who didn't feel loved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this, I just need to, I remember, and I'm saying this freely because Kimberly, you know where I am in my life and you know my relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
yet you invited me anyway. So I feel like I have the freedom to say to people that, you don't feel loved, but Jesus loved you this much. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting my arms out wide like he hung on the cross because he died for you and he
Mm-hmm.
loved you that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so there isn't a time in your life where you need to feel unloved, because there is someone who loves you,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves you that much and he died for you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk to people, in fact, Kim, we've talked for nearly an hour now. Um, I never say to people, um, "Can I pray for you?" or "Can I?" I'm praying for you, and you want to say, "Well, what are you praying for?"
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what I say is, "I'm going to pray for us right now," and just pray, and that's what I'm going to do because I have to go soon.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to say, "I'm going to pray for us. Let's pray." So, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time, Lord, that I was able to talk with my daughter and people who love her and people who know she has an important message. Lord, she's so far afield that she gathers people around her and close to her because of her loving heart and understanding mind. And I'm so grateful for that. I pray, Father, for each one that is listening today, Lord, that you would go before them and behind them. I pray, Father, that you would let them feel your love and your understanding. And I pray, Father, for spiritual wisdom and understanding. And we thank you for this day, Lord. And we thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
And now I have to go. And I love this time together. And
Yes.
I'm not very good at anything to do with electronics, I can tell you that. But I kept up, and the miracle is I got on this channel. I followed instructions pretty well, and
Yes.
yeah. So Kimberly, I have to go, and I don't know
Okay.
exactly. I think there's a little thing there that says leave, and so I'm going to
Yep.
press that, and then
Yep.
I'm going to turn my phone off just in case uh, I'm on. So I love you, sweetheart. And
I
we'll
love
see
you,
you in
Mama.
just in a couple of weeks. Okay?
A couple, yes, 2 weeks. Yep,
Is it 2 weeks? Okay.
I think so.
And happy anniversary. Well, hang on.
Thank
There
you.
I am.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
anniversary. Thank you. Just to say, when Kim, yes, oh, my husband's telling me 1 week. We're going to see each other in 1 week on the 24th.
My house isn't clean enough.
Honey, that's what I'm there for.
I know. I know.
I know. I love it. Okay. So anyway,
Okay.
bye-bye, people, and I love you. Thank you for supporting my daughter. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. And I'm going to stay on. And
Okay.
okay, you go, Mom.
Bye-bye.
I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. Okay, so I'm going to stay on. And now I can visit with you guys. And please give me your wisdom about relationships. Give me your wisdom about um, how you maintain what you have, whether it's with a best friend, whether it's with a spouse or a partner, whether it is with your children, because all of those relationships are super important. Yeah, I'm in love with Mama too. I really am. We've got quite the storm going on outside our house. Wow. Anyway, um, we've got um, we've got relationships. Each one of us has relationships we need to maintain. So I'd like to know how you maintain your relationships. I'd like to know if you have questions. I am an oversharer, as you know. And if it is something I don't want to talk about, I'll simply say, I'm sorry, I won't talk about that. So give each other some space when they need it. That works for me. Absolutely, Sandy. That is super important. My husband loves hunting because he loves, well, first of all, providing meat for the family. That's big. But he also loves being outside and he loves being in nature and having that time to be able to reflect and just enjoy the space, smell the outdoors, all of that stuff. He loves that. So tell me questions and such. First of all, I'm going to say hi to everybody. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Misha. Indigo Twin. I'm trying to remember your name. I'm really bad at that. Mary is here. Crystal is here. I saw Brian and Todd earlier. I feel like I'm doing the romper room looking glass thing. I maintain by honesty, 100% honesty. Even if it's painful, it has helped me be better and help my relationships as well be more real. Yep. But there's also honesty with um, grace. Honey, does this dress look good on me? Well, no, you look like a fat cow. I think it's terrible. No, that's not what you say. You say, okay, I'm not sure I like the shape of that, but I love the color. Find something positive. Sorry, I need to just dab my nose because it's decided it wants to run. Okay, indigo or Hales. Okay, I'll go by indigo. But honesty, yeah, that is super important. Not only be honest with each other, be honest with yourself. You know, don't simply stuff your own feelings and your own needs because you think it's going to be better for somebody else. Tell somebody, you know what? I really need this if you need it. If it is something that you need, if it's something that you want, say, you know what? I'd really like this. I'd really like to have it. But the non-negotiables are super important. Make memories. We're doing that now. I just sent you a precious picture I'm going to treasure forever. Awesome, Mary. Mary's aunt has been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and her aunt is visiting her right now. If you take a look at our video, One Last Hug, beautiful, beautiful video. And that's what Mary's getting right now with her auntie. I am so happy that you're able to do that, Mary, and you're able to provide that for your daughter and son-in-law. Excuse me. So that is awesome. Thank you for sharing the picture. I'll take a look at it a little later once I'm no longer on. Any other comments? How do you maintain your relationships? Indigo, you said that you're going through a breakup right now. If you want to private message me later and tell me about it, great. If you don't, it's not my business. But there are times, though, when breaking up is something you have to do. You have to, in order to maintain your own integrity at times. Mary snapped a picture of her aunt on a horse. It was so awesome. They got to go horseback riding yesterday, her daughter and her aunt. Oh, that's wonderful. That's a memory worth keeping, that's for sure. Yes. Hugs and loves to Auntie Crochet from Indigo. That's awesome. There were times, the fellow that I was with before my husband, was faithful. He didn't mess around on me, but he treated me like an afterthought to all of his activities, to all of his friends, all of everything. I was the excess baggage. But he loved me. He asked me to marry him. He wanted me around forever. But when I needed him the most, and it was life or death, literally life or death, he couldn't come because he was playing video games with the guys, and that's what was important. And I stuck with him after that. I didn't have enough of my own self-love to know that I deserved. If somebody said they want to be with me forever, they want to be with me forever. They're choosing me forever, like I'm choosing them. Misha is working to maintain. Never had many great long-lasting relationships, honestly. She's always been so open and giving, golden rule method. Not many appreciate that. She expects that. So I am trying to understand and use boundaries. Boundaries are so important. Absolutely. Boundaries are not a fence to keep you in. Sometimes it's a barricade to keep you from going too far away. You know, like there's a fence at the edge of a cliff, and it's not to keep you from exploring further. It's to keep you safe from falling off that cliff. So sometimes that's what boundaries are for as well. Indigo, sure, there are challenges because we're still living together right now. We are trying to maintain our friendship. That was a big thing with my husband and I. We were friends before we were in a romantic relationship. And that's what Tommy and Reese have right now. They were friends before they became romantically involved. That friendship will last longer than that feeling of being in love regularly. There are times when you fall out of love, and you'll notice I use air quotes a lot, kind of even annoys me. But you will notice that when you fall out of love, then just that's when you look back and say, okay, like Mary says, don't base your relationship on feelings. It's on commitment, because that was what would keep you together through the difficult times. Absolutely, Mary. Misha is trying to use and understand boundaries. So that is awesome. Misha's boundaries are important. She lives by the verse, love is patient, love is kind, it does not judge. I try to give that to myself. She's always felt like an object in her relationships, not friendships, But once upon a time, she didn't realize the difference or the necessity. Absolutely. You are not an object. You're a person. You have feelings, you have needs, you have desires. Um, and all of those are just as important as your partner's, whether it be a friend, whether it be a romantic relationship, whether it be your as a parent, or even as a child of somebody. Like there are times when I don't agree with my mom. I just say, Mama, not in my house. Simple as that. Um, because my house, I need to take care of my house, my marriage, and my kids. My mom needs to take care of her house, her marriage, and her kids to an extent. Um, she will defend one of us to another if the two of us are disagreeing or whatever. Um, it is true kindness and patience that they are so special and rare. Absolutely, Misha. And Crystal says, Misha, you are worthy to be loved and respected. Absolutely. Absolutely. Something that a lot of people think about when they think about Bible and they think about marriage and they think about a Christian relationship. They use the verse, wives submit to your husbands. And that is true. But the verse immediately before that, and I do mean immediately before that verse, is husbands and wives submit to each other. It is not simply wives submit to your husbands. It's Ephesians 4:22, I think. I could be wrong. I know it's in Ephesians. But it is husbands and wives submit to each other. Now, even for people who are not in a Bible foundational marriage or relationship or whatever, in your relationships, friends, do what's best for each other. And don't forget that you need to be taken care of as well, right? So if it is not your skill or ability to be a homemaker, then find a way to make sure that gets done. It is not my skill and ability to be a tidy homemaker. I really have to work at it, and I have to be reminded regularly, but I need a lot of help. I really do need a lot of help. Um, Preparing for my mom to come, I know that she's a fastidious cleaner. She is a fastidious cleaner. I won't say she's OCD because she's not. But for her, she has feelings when something's out of place. Something was out of place in our kitchen quite a number of years ago. It was some recycling that we had off to the corner that needed to be put in the garage. And it hadn't yet been put there, and it was beyond time. My mother figured it needed to be done. She got my daughter to help her put it away in the recycle bin. She's like, doesn't that just feel better? And my daughter looked at her and was like, it doesn't feel like anything. It's just nothing. Um, oops. Okay. Misha says she wanted to tell me yesterday after our talk, I got a memory that had been lost. It was such a beautiful one of Christina, and I think that is in part thanks to you. Thank you for being my friend. Well, Misha, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to help you. And remember, when you feel like you aren't worthy of being helped, think about your best friend. What would you do for your best friend if they wanted to, if they needed somebody? If your best friend was going through a rough time, you would feel upset if they didn't reach out to you and talk. If your best friend was going through a bad relationship, you would feel upset if that friend did not reach out and tell you what's going on and ask for your help. Give your best friend that same opportunity. It doesn't mean that you're being a burden. It means that you are reaching out to somebody who loves you, who wants to be there for you. That is so important. So important. Um, yeah, I'm not used to doing this without somebody to talk to. Um, the picture that mom says that um, she can picture me coming up the stairs in that itty bitty little nightgown. It would have been floor length because that's the way they always were. I remember that. Um, and I don't remember the Billy Graham thing when I was 4 per se, but I know I've heard the story often enough. It can just run through and it has become a core memory. Um, Knowing and implementing, yeah, that's an important difference. And my gallery wall is fantastic. I love my gallery wall. Love it. Okay, the secret to a good gallery wall, your pictures can be whatever they want. They can be black and white, they can be color, they don't have to match. The frames have to match. They don't have to be all the same size, but they should be all the same style. Okay? That's the secret to my gallery wall. Other people, their gallery wall, all the pictures are black and white, but their frames are all different. So it needs to have one continuing theme throughout. Maybe it's a whole black and white wall, except for one photograph that you really want to draw attention to, and that one's in color. So yeah, just a little decorating tip there. Crystal says, it is special when we have someone who loves us and can help us with those memories come to us, whether they were good or bad memories. That's right. Memories um, of themselves are not good or bad. The feelings that they create inside of us in that memory, sometimes they bring back the hurt we felt. Sometimes they bring back the joy we felt. My mom thinks in pictures, I think in music. So there is a song, Sweet Child of Mine. Can't remember who did it, if it's Def Leppard or Guns N' Roses. Oh, sweet child of mine. Anyway, that is the ringtone for my younger daughter because it talks about the girl with the blonde hair and the blue eyes and how she looks at me. And it's my child. It's that sweet child of mine. And I get absolutely misty when I think about that song in conjunction with my daughter. The other daughter, the song, oh, and I can't even think of this one without crying. Hang on though, just a second. My nose. It is so smoky out here from the wildfires that, oh, Guns N' Roses? Okay. It is so smoky here from the wildfire that my nose is totally plugged up without even trying. Anyway, um, when you say nothing at all, um, you say it best when you say nothing at all. The movie Notting Hill came out um, within a week or so of my older daughter being born, and that song is there, and I picture her as a baby and looking at me with absolute trust in her eyes, and she would hold my finger, and the smile on her face lets me know that you love me. The truth in your eyes says that you'll never hurt me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me whenever I fall. Anyway, as you can tell, I get very emotional with that one. Um, so that one comes to me when I'm having a hard time thinking of something good about my child, which actually isn't very often. Um, oh, and I sound even really quite stuffed up. I think of music. When it comes to my husband, there are a few songs that come to mind. Radar Love is a big one. Um, what's it called? I Can't Fight That Feeling. The Ooga Chugga song is for my husband. Um, yeah, there's a few of them that are just music goes through my head. I was talking to another friend of mine here online that I met on the boat, and I gave her, I think, like 43 songs. Um, she is still having a hard time emotionally with anxiety, with all of these things, and music touches me. Um, oh yeah, Indigo had a special filtration mask when Canada fires blue ash over here. Absolutely. The mask helps decrease her asthma symptoms. Absolutely. I don't have asthma symptoms. I just have a really tight um, nasal passage. And my nose isn't small. It's not like a Michael Jackson skinny nose, but the inside, the tubes that go to my sinuses are incredibly swollen, and they always are. So it doesn't take much for it to totally close up. So she and I share a faith. She and I share beliefs when it comes to Bibles, etc. And so I sent her a number of songs that help me when I'm having a hard time. Um, for somebody who is not a believer in the same faith that I have, I would send different music. I would send other music that helps to remind me things that I'm grateful for, things that make me happy, things that um, conjure up feelings in myself that makes it easier for me to love myself, love someone else, get out of my own head sometimes. Uh, yeah, anyway. So, does anyone have any more questions or comments? Misha said she'll be right back. Um, oh, my nose. Anyway, um, yeah. So if you have questions or comments, um, just put them in the chat. I'll look at them later. Or you can Facebook me. I think all of you have my contact on Facebook, My Other's Keeper. Or you can email me at myotherskeeperis@gmail.com. So if you want to send me photos, if you want to send me information, if you want to send me a link to something, this is a great place to do it. myotherskeeperis@gmail.com. So there we go. Have an excellent afternoon, my friends. It has just turned noon here, so I can say have an excellent afternoon. Thank you for the impromptu live. I wasn't expecting it to be live. I thought I was making a pre-recorded message. So now I have to think about something else to put up on the 20th. Anyway, alrighty. I will see you all later. I love you all. Talk to you then. Bye bye.